Hey, it's Darryl Syms, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you 10 levels of the CAGED system. The order in which I present these levels to you is not a guideline to how I recommend practicing the CAGED system. If you want a structured and effective practice plan for mastering the CAGED system, then my CAGED Fretboard Visualization Masterclass is a must-watch. If you want to learn more about music theory, songwriting, technique, fretboard visualization, and much more, then come and join me on Fretwise. Become a member today and you'll get access to all of my masterclasses, as well as daily challenges, a members forum, and personalized progress reviews. Click the link in the video description or go to getfretwise.com to learn more. Level 1 demonstrates the ability to build and navigate between foundation CAGED shapes. There are 5 shapes in total, which are based on the popular open chords that we all learn in our first few guitar lessons. Now, to make these open chord shapes transposable and therefore useful, we can replace the nut with the index finger, which allows us to freely move these shapes to any desired chord. I'll demonstrate this by moving each chord shape up the neck until it's a D major chord. Level 2 requires us to minorize the CAGED shapes from level 1, which does require some prerequisite understanding of intervals. In theory, this is quite simple because all we need to do is flatten all of the thirds. Providing you're a master of level 1, this shouldn't be very difficult. The toughest part is knowing which fingers to use and which strings to play. Let me show you how it's done. In level 3, I'll begin using the CAGED shapes in a musical setting. I'll play a 1-4-6-5 progression in E major. That's E, A, C sharp minor, and B. Typically, guitar players would immediately resort to open chords or common bar chord shapes to play this, but I'll play all of these chords in a way that utilizes the CAGED system and offers a variety of different sounds and positions of the neck. Level 4 is where we begin to move on from chords onto single note melodies. The CAGED shapes that I've shared with you so far all contain the first, third, and fifth degrees. The goal of this level is to play each of those degrees in sequential order. Now, in some of the CAGED shapes, some extra notes will be required in order to achieve the correct order and also bulk out the entire position of the neck. Here's a short example of A minor and D major triad arpeggios across multiple positions of the neck. At first, if you're new to arpeggios, you'll find it very helpful to build each arpeggio from the root note of each individual position. But eventually you'll want to be able to voice lead through the arpeggios seamlessly and fluidly anywhere on the neck to make them sound much more musical and less robotic. Here's what that might sound like. In level 5, I'll use the Triad Arpeggios from the previous level to help build smaller 3-note chords. Triad chords in their simplest form are played in a similar way to Triad Arpeggios in that the notes of the chord must remain sequential. This is what we call a closed position triad. A great way to practice these is to create a steady rhythm with the right hand and then navigate around the chords within each caged position at your own pace. In level 6, I'm going to show you some more complex triad voicings known as spread-voiced triads. You're surely beginning to notice that triads are a huge part of the CAGED system, and that's because triads are truly the framework of the fretboard. Unlike closed position triads where the intervallic order is sequential, spread-voiced triads are exactly what the name implies, spread out. I'll demonstrate what that sounds like. Level 7 extends on the triad with extended chord tones. The most common extension to the triad is to add the 7th degree, which can of course be the natural major 7 or the flattened minor 7 in conjunction with any variation of triad. This opens up a range of popular chord voicings such as the major 7, the minor 7, the dominant 7, the diminished 7, the minor 7 flat 5, and so forth. I'll demonstrate just the D minor 7 arpeggio real quick. The 7 isn't the only note that can be utilized at this level. It's certainly the next best thing to the simple triad, but we can also try the same idea with the 2, 4, or 6, or rather 9, 11, and 13. I'll do one more short demonstration which includes both the flat 7 and 9 on top of the minor triad. Now I could play these notes sequentially. Or more creatively. And if I were to play that sequence of notes over a chord progression and perhaps even change the arpeggio to include, instead of the 9, maybe the 11 sometimes, then that would sound like this. Now I know that was quite quick, but we are reaching the harder levels now. Let's talk about scales. Scales are simply an extension of these arpeggios. The pentatonic scale, for example, is just one more additional note to the 7th arpeggio. The easiest scale to build besides the pentatonic scale would of course be the major scale because the intervallic structure is pure, non-altered, and natural. I can build this scale in any position of the neck by simply using the triad or the 7th arpeggios as a template or outline for the intended scale. We can use the same methods to build any scale, even scales that we've never even played before. The only prerequisite that you'll need, besides mastering the previous levels of course, is to know the intervallic formula of the scale that you're trying to play. I'll demonstrate this with the Phrygian dominant scale or mode, for example. Now this scale isn't something that I've ever actively practiced, but I do know that Phrygian is a minor scale with a minor second instead of a major second, and the dominant part of this implies that there's a major third instead of a minor third. So if I were to play this in the G form or G position of D minor, that would sound and look like this, starting from the root, flat 2, major third, 4th, 5th, flat 6, flat 7, and root. I'll now demonstrate G Lydian by navigating through different positions of the neck fluently and seamlessly, and I'll annotate on screen exactly what I'm thinking as I move around the neck. Level 9 utilizes 7th chords and beyond to help build really colorful chord progressions. Following on from the previous 2 levels, I'll demonstrate some different 7th chord voicings with a little melody throughout for a bit more flavor. Level 10 demonstrates complete melodic freedom. No matter what the circumstance, you should be able to play melody and harmony interchangeably anywhere on the neck with or without the support of a backing track. I'll give you a demonstration of what this sounds like by playing an extract from my song, It's Been a While. And there you have 10 levels of the CAGED system. I hope you enjoyed this video and gained an insight into the many different things that you can do with CAGED. Don't forget to like this video, consider subscribing if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments section which of the 10 levels you would rate yourself at. If you would like help working through these levels towards fretboard freedom, then join me on Fretwise, where you'll find my CAGED Fretboard Visualization Masterclass, which in the words of one of my students is a class that should be prescribed to all guitar players. Until next time, get practicing, get playing, get Fretwise.